The key achievement that the FLEXIS project has delivered is the creation of a community of researchers across Wales who are going to be instrumental in delivering the net zero transition. Not only technologists, but also social scientists.
Humans, people, are thoroughly embedded in the energy system. With my FLEXIS engineering colleagues and as part of the social science team, that's precisely what we've been studying. One of the major issues that we've really foregrounded is the importance of thinking about humans as being very dependent on energy, but explaining how energy poverty isn't something that's very static, and it isn't limited only to social groups that are usually designated as being deprived. In fact, because all of us potentially could experience misfortune, we could all fall into it. So here I think we're emphasising something that has been very timely. It's not at all technical, it's all about lived experience, and it's all about what might happen, as opposed to just definitively having knowledge about those who we absolutely know for sure are going to be in difficulties. There are lots of other people whose difficulties need to be understood too. We call that energy vulnerability.
Our energy system is undergoing a very radical change, and there's a lot of challenges we are facing. And so far we haven't got the solution we need to really implement net zero. And when we develop these energy solutions, we need to consider three aspects together, so we call the energy trilemma. Firstly, the solution must be green, low carbon, even zero carbon. And secondly, we need to make sure the light is always on, so it's an energy security concern. And in the winter, for cold areas, people should have access to heating. And also we need to make sure the energy cost is affordable. So in order to meet three aspects together, so we need a new solution. So FLEXIS brought world-leading expertise in Wales in this area, work together to tackle these challenges. And we develop new solutions of the integrated flexible energy systems. We trial this in our demonstration area and in labs. And also we work with industry and the government and trying to trial these solutions in reality, help them to decarbonize their energy system.
So I think there will be two main ways we use energy in our zero carbon society in the future. The main one is likely to be electricity. Decarbonising electricity is already being done to a large extent, but some things are hard to electrify, hard to use electricity for, and in that role then hydrogen might play a leading role. So electricity and hydrogen, they're both ways of using energy, but they're not energy forms in themselves. You have to make electricity and you have to make hydrogen. And the way you do that then sets out how low carbon that fuel is. So if you make your electricity from wind power, that's going to be a zero carbon electricity source. If you make your hydrogen from wind power as well, it's going to be zero carbon. So how you make our energy, how we make our energy which can then be transported and used is going to be a key thing.
I think FLEXIS has been at the forefront of technological, policy and social change that's required for the net zero transition. So examples where the project was ahead of the curve are all of the work around hydrogen, about energy reuse, and also considering the important social aspects.
So the Hydrogen Centre is a research and demonstration centre. What we do is we demonstrate hydrogen technologies in use, and we run experiments on pilot scale hydrogen equipment. As well as delivering research outputs from FLEXIS, what it's allowed us to do is to build relationships with academic partners within FLEXIS, industrial partners in the region, local government authorities and wider governmental bodies to really try and look at what is the next stage for decarbonisation within the South Wales region and what role we can play within that. As part of FLEXIS, we strengthen our relationships with Tata Steel and we work with them quite closely, and as part of that we formed a relationship with Chris Williams. And along with Chris Williams then, we helped to set up the South Wales Industrial Cluster, gathering all these big industrial players in the region together who could then work together, have a dialogue together and then help to decarbonise those industrial emissions from South Wales.
One of the things I have learned a lot about comes from working in an environment where innovation culture is really right at the centre of decarbonising the energy system and at the centre of decarbonising industrial strategy and at the centre of decarbonising, how business and commerce is also struggling with this. But certainly I understand that you can't produce new thinking or new technologies if you work in silos. So multidisciplinarity is absolutely the centre of that way of working.
FLEXIS opened a lot of great opportunities to our staff and researchers, and a lot of consortium outside FLEXIS invite us to join them. And some examples, for example, the UK Energy Research Centre invited us to join because of our FLEXIS work, and also EPSC Supergen Energy Networks Hub. And from the European point of view, there's a European projects we're involved because of FLEXIS. So FLEXIS are used as a case study in the European Horizon 2020 project magnitude, trying to look at this flexibility provision from multi-vector energy systems.
The Switch project is really exciting for us because it brings together teams from FLEXIS, teams from Specific, and teams from other government-funded projects to look at the whole energy system and include aspects of solar power and new materials science, which have not been included so far in FLEXIS. And that offers the opportunity for the Switch team to really deliver right across from fundamental invention of new materials, through testing of new materials, through adoption in the hydrogen economy, and importantly to make sure that we exercise the appropriate judgment around the just transition to make sure that the population of Wales benefits from all of the work that we're doing, and we don't do what we've done before in terms of leaving communities behind.
I'm optimistic about the future.
I think there's an incredible amount of work to do. So if you look at everybody from national government, regional government, local government, academic institutions, industry, there's nobody who is saying we shouldn't do this. Everybody is committed, and I think that's the key thing.
There's so much human ingenuity that we can draw on in dealing with serious societal challenges, generating sort of innovation in terms of technology options. So yes, there's certainly reason for optimism.
And the FLEXIS help us to develop a better understanding about the challenges, about the problems, but also opportunities.
I'm extremely optimistic about the opportunities that exist for us to decarbonise Wales in a fair way that delivers economic and social change, which is good for everyone, and also creates really great opportunities for the next generation and indeed current generations of scientists and engineers to solve global problems. At the end of the day, Wales can lead a journey because we're small enough to change and big enough to make a difference.